Have you ever wondered why some places are never fully mapped? Why signals vanish in the open desert? And why certain caves are talked about, but never found twice? Nevada is known for what's been covered up. But what if some of it uncovered itself? What if people went missing not by accident, but because they got too close? These aren't ghost stories. These are incidents with names, dates, and witnesses that were never supposed to reach you. You've heard of Area 51. This is what's outside of it. And if you're still watching, lock your doors, put on your headphones, and pull the blanket up tight, because after this video, you won't look at Nevada the same way again. The disappearance of Kenny Vich, the cave that made his body vibrate. Some people go missing in the wilderness. Kenny Vich went looking for something, and what he found may have been looking back. Kenny Vich wasn't reckless. He was a 47-year-old experienced hiker, solo adventurer, and desert explorer who loved pushing limits, but always with preparation. He posted on hiking forums, YouTube, and gear blogs. He'd spent years walking into the most remote, dried-out, rattlesnake-infested corners of Nevada. But what happened in late 2014 wasn't another casual hike. It was something else entirely. It started with a comment. Kenny left a message under a video about strange desert caves near Nellis Air Force Base, saying he had once found a cave shaped like a perfect M, with an entrance that made his body vibrate the moment he got close. My whole body began to vibrate. The closer I got, the worse it became. Eventually, it became too painful. I had to back out. He wanted to find it again. People in the comments begged him to go back and film it. And he did. Kenny uploaded a short video titled M Cave Hike, showing the surrounding terrain, endless sun-scorched hills, jagged stone and silent wind. But he couldn't find the cave again. He promised a second attempt, saying he'd go deeper, further. He left on November 14th, 2014, alone. As always, he never returned. 3 days later, when he didn't come home, his girlfriend reported him missing. Search and rescue teams went out immediately. They found his cell phone near the entrance of an abandoned mine shaft, several miles into the desert. But no Kenny, no signs of struggle, no supplies, no camp, just the phone, placed carefully by the rocks, almost as if he had walked in willingly. And that's when the theories started. Some said he fell into the mine and was never recovered. Others believed the military intervened, because the region is dotted with classified airspace and testing zones. But those who knew Kenny online knew one thing: he wanted to find that cave again, because whatever he felt there, whatever made his body vibrate, was something he'd never experienced before, and he couldn't let it go. In the weeks after his disappearance, multiple YouTubers tried to find the cave themselves. None succeeded. Some found strange holes, narrow rock formations, or just endless heat-stroke-inducing hikes. One of them said something that stuck. "The silence here feels alive, like you're not supposed to be listening." His original video is still online. So is the comment that started it all. People still post there, asking questions, sharing coordinates, looking for closure. But no new trace of Kenny was ever found. Not a boot, not a backpack, not a bone. Some believe the cave wasn't natural, that it was part of something buried, something that emitted energy. Others believe it was never a cave, that it was an entrance and it only opened for him. And maybe the most disturbing part? The way he described the sensation, like a low-frequency vibration moving through my bones. Some have claimed to feel similar things near abandoned test zones, but none as strong. None that made them turn back. Kenny turned back the first time, but the second time, he didn't. He walked into the rocks and vanished. No echo, no goodbye. But there's a place not far from there, where the rocks don't just absorb sound, they make their own. And what you hear there doesn't always stop when you leave. The metallic hum of black rock, the desert that breathes without wind. Some deserts whisper, others scream in ways only your body can hear. In black rock, there's no traffic, no cities, no towers. But if you stand still long enough, you'll hear it. And once you do, it doesn't go away. Black Rock Desert is known for two things: the dust-covered chaos of Burning Man and the deafening silence that returns when everyone's gone. But long before festivals and art cars, long before GPS or cell towers, there were stories. Stories of a sound, not voices, not music, but something deep, metallic, constant. and coming from inside the ground. The first official report came in 1983 from a photographer named Colin Brandt, who was camping near Soldier Meadow. That night, he began hearing a sound so low, he thought it was coming from inside his ears. He described it as a hum, like a large machine in the distance. But it didn't fade when he walked. It followed him, got stronger when he stood still, and worst of all, it wasn't just sound. It had pressure. Over the next few years, hikers and off-grid campers began reporting the same thing. A steady, metallic tone, no vibration on the ground, no visible source, and a growing sense of physical discomfort the longer they stayed still. Some reported headaches. Others said they had brief hallucinations, shadows in the corner of their vision. A few said their hearing changed when they left the area, like their ears had been retuned. In 1991, a geology team from the University of Nevada attempted to record the hum. They placed 3 sensitive directional microphones into the ground at different depths and left them overnight. The data they recovered was conflicting. The surface mic picked up nothing, but the deeper ones captured a pulsing frequency between 18 and 21 hertz, a range that's technically below human hearing. Known as infrasound, the team never published their findings formally. The only record of them exists in an old thesis draft leaked online, but it's enough to confirm something is resonating beneath black rock. In 2009, a woman named Lily M. posted a blog about her trip through the desert alone. She had never heard of the hum before, but on her second night she woke up to what she thought was a generator running underground. There were no campers for miles, no wind, no planes. The sound grew louder. She covered her ears. The sound stayed. She recorded a voice memo at 2:31 in the morning. In it, you can hear her breathing, then silence. Then, just barely, a metallic rhythm, like machinery, turning over and over, echoing from nowhere. The clip was removed from her blog weeks later, and her site went offline the following month. Skeptics say it's natural seismic movement or echoes bouncing between rock formations. But if that were true, why does the sound seem to move with the listener? Why does it only appear after dark, and only to people who stay quiet? And why does it linger in your hearing after you leave? Some describe it as a pressure on the skull. Others say it's like being watched through sound, like something knows you're hearing it. Locals have another theory. They say black rock was once used for more than weapons testing, that tunnels exist beneath the cracked basin, sealed off decades ago, and that the sound isn't natural at all. It's mechanical, or alive, or both. Today, few people camp in that area alone, and those who do tend to leave by morning, with migraines, anxiety, and a strange feeling that the silence itself is wrong. Because black rock doesn't echo, it hums, and if you listen too closely, it starts listening back. Some disappear, some feel followed, but one group vanished without a trace, not in the desert, but in the sky above it, and their last known signal was just over Nevada. The vanishing of Flight 739, 96 souls, zero evidence. On March 16, 1962, a military aircraft took off from California. It was carrying 96 people. It never arrived, it never crashed. And to this day, no wreckage has ever been found. The plane was a Lockheed L-1049 Super Constellation leased by the Flying Tiger Line, a military charter company. Its mission was simple: transport 93 US soldiers and 3 South Vietnamese military personnel from Travis Air Force Base to Saigon, with several stops along the way. The aircraft made its first leg successfully, landing in Hawaii, then Guam. Then, after refueling, it departed into the Pacific Ocean. That's when it vanished. But what makes this more than just another lost plane is what happened before it ever left the country. Because the night before the mission, a second Flying Tiger aircraft exploded on the runway, killing all crew members. And the one that would become Flight 739? It took off without its usual backup beacon transmitter. That's critical, meaning if it went down, it wouldn't be found. Here's where Nevada enters the picture. Military documents revealed later that the plane's radar signal was last confirmed just off the western edge of the continental US, in airspace over Nevada, just minutes before entering the Pacific corridor. Then silence. No distress signal, no transponder ping, no crash, just gone. And the witnesses? A Liberian tanker ship reported seeing a strange flash in the sky, followed by a trail of fire, then nothing. They searched the waters, found no wreckage, no fuel, no oil, no bodies. But here's the truly disturbing part. Families were told nothing. The government offered no official cause. No investigation led to answers. And because the aircraft was not a standard military transport, the passengers' names were excluded from the Vietnam War memorial, as if they had never left. Speculation began fast. Was it a secret experimental mission gone wrong? Was it shot down, accidentally or deliberately? Or did it disappear because of what it was carrying? Some believe Flight 739 had classified equipment on board, possibly even personnel related to unknown operations. Others believe it was hijacked and redirected. But if that's true, where did they land? Why was no communication ever received? And what about the second aircraft that exploded the night before, belonging to the same company? What are the odds? Why was no official cause given for either incident? To this day, the full flight manifest remains partially classified. Families of the soldiers have held vigils, but they still have no graves, no remains, not even a verified location, only a blank spot on the map, and a sky that never gave anything back. The only physical tribute? A granite memorial in Columbia Falls, Maine, placed by a private foundation, not by the US government. 96 names, and no answers. Some disappear into the desert, some disappear into sound. But Flight 739 disappeared into nothing. Some mysteries vanish into the sky, but others wait in the valleys, where lights hover without a sound, and time stops when you look too long. The lights of Piranha, silent skies and frozen time. They don't flash, they don't roar, they don't even cast a shadow. In Piranha Valley, Nevada, lights appear in the sky, low, triangular, silent, and if you see them too long, you might not remember what happens next. Piranha Valley is a quiet place. Population, barely over 1,000. 2 lakes, dry roads, open desert. It sits roughly 70 miles north of Las Vegas, just far enough to disappear. But this little valley has one of the highest local UFO sighting densities in Nevada, and nobody talks about it. At least, not outside the diner. The lights started being officially reported in the late 1960s. Triangular formations, 3 red points hovering in the sky. Sometimes they drift slowly across the lake. Sometimes they remain completely still. Sometimes they blink once and vanish instantly. But the real fear doesn't come from seeing them. It comes from what happens after. A man named Joseph C., former ranch hand and lifelong Piranha resident, gave 1998. I saw them above the lower lake, maybe 100 feet up. They didn't move. They didn't hum. I looked for 10-15 seconds. Then I was back at my truck. The clock said 40 minutes passed. I didn't move, didn't remember a thing. Other locals have reported the same. Lights that follow your car in total silence. A strange sense of disorientation, followed by nausea or time loss. Phones and radios going dead, even fully charged. One woman described feeling watched through her own headlights. In 2004, 2 amateur astronomers visited the area after hearing stories online. They brought a telescope, cameras, EMF detectors. They camped for 3 nights, and on the second night they saw them. The lights came in from the east, 3 red points, no sound. They hovered above the lake for nearly 40 seconds. Their cameras, blank, not glitched, blank, as if nothing recorded. Their watches were off by 7 minutes the next morning. Their time logs didn't match their memory. They left the valley that day and never posted the footage. Skeptics argue it's military aircraft. After all, Area 51 is less than 90 miles west, and other test ranges dot the region. But if that's true, why are the craft always completely silent? Why do they appear at irregular hours, not matching any known training schedule? Why do witnesses lose time? And why are the lights seen hovering above water, not near bases? Locals no longer report them to the authorities. They just say the same thing when asked. If you see them, don't look too long, or you'll lose the moment and not even know what you missed. One last detail? Several witnesses mention a single tone, a low hum that they don't hear but feel in their teeth. And one man said, "It was like someone was flipping a light switch behind my brain." After that night, he began sleepwalking. He still does. And maybe that's the most disturbing part. The The lights don't land, they don't chase, they don't speak, they just observe. Quiet, red, intelligent, and when they disappear, something in you goes with them. Some things fly, others just float, watching. But far beneath the ground, in a desert town with sealed doors and empty streets, there are structures with no records, tunnels with no end, and sounds that weren't made for human ears. The underground city of Tonopa, tunnels that were never on the map. Above ground, Tonopa is a fading desert town, but underneath it, the silence gets louder. Tunnels with no schematics, rooms with no entrances, and a sound that doesn't echo. Some believe the base was abandoned, others say something inside never left. Tonopa Test Range is a classified military zone located deep in central Nevada, about 70 miles northeast of Area 51. Officially, it was built during the Cold War as a weapons testing ground. Unofficially, it became the subject of dozens of rumors about underground operations, unmarked flights, and experiments that went too far. But this story isn't about the base we know. It's about the part no one talks about. Locals in Tonopa have told the same story for decades, that there are doors in the desert that don't appear on satellite, that service roads lead to empty hangars, but if you stand still, you hear machines running beneath your feet, and that some workers went underground and never came back. One of the earliest reports came from a former contractor who anonymously posted in 2003 that he had worked on structural reinforcement inside what he called Sub-Level 3. He claimed the elevators went down much deeper than reported, and that one corridor was sealed with welded steel, no lights and no signage. When he asked about it, he was told, "It doesn't go anywhere anymore." The key word was anymore. More strange details surfaced. Wildlife avoids the area entirely. Drone footage near the perimeter loses signal within seconds. Photographers report heat distortion above certain areas of bare dirt. In one instance, a team of geology students set seismic sensors nearby and recorded mechanical pulses every 9 minutes and 12 seconds, lasting exactly 38 seconds. No official source explained them. One night in 2016, a hiker named Cam R walked near the outer boundary of the range. He didn't cross any fences, didn't touch anything, but as he moved through the dry brush, his flashlight flickered, and he heard a single metallic knock under his feet. He described it like someone tapped a giant steel pipe from below. He stayed still. The knock came again, then nothing. When he looked around, he realized something worse. No wind, no sound, not even crickets, just desert, still and watching. Cam walked back, didn't run. He said it didn't feel like he was being hunted. It felt like he had been noticed. Some say there's a second base deep below Tonopa, where experimental projects continued long after the Cold War ended. Rumors talk about containment rooms, acoustic chambers, even non-human testing environments. But that's all theory, right? Except, in 2018, a declassified line item in a government spending bill included $21 million in deep structure retrofitting at Tonopa Test Range. No details, no blueprints, no explanation, and right after that, a temporary no-fly zone was activated for the region. It stayed active for 11 days. What's still down there, no one knows. Or maybe someone does, and they just know better than to speak. Because if Tonopa really is sleeping underground, something is still breathing beneath the silence. Something with no name. And it hasn't finished listening. Some places seal the doors. Others never had doors to begin with, just stone. And something already waiting inside. And in one part of Nevada, among fire-colored cliffs, people swear they've seen a figure. Not walking, not moving, just watching. The Watcher on the Rock, the Stillness in Valley of Fire. Most stories about sightings may start with motion, a shadow running, a figure fleeing, but in Valley of Fire, it's not what moves that haunts people. It's what never moves at all. Just stands, just watches, just waits. Valley of Fire is Nevada's oldest state park, a blazing landscape of red sandstone, carved into strange arches and twisted cliffs by millions of years of wind. Tourists come for the beauty. Locals avoid it at night, because for over 20 years, hikers, campers, and even park rangers have reported seeing a figure, not running, not hiding, just standing, always in the same place, always facing outward, and always gone the moment you try to get close. The earliest known report dates back to 1996. A woman named Janet W., amateur photographer, was walking a trail near Elephant Rock just before sunset. She looked up to a high ridge and saw a man standing perfectly still on the ledge. Dark clothes, arms at his sides, no movement. She thought he might be taking in the view until she zoomed in with her camera and realized his face was completely shadowed despite the full sun. When she lowered the camera, he was gone. No sound, no footsteps, no way down from the ledge without ropes. Since then, dozens of similar reports have appeared online. A family on a hike who saw a man on the ridge every day they visited. At the same time, same posture. A ranger who climbed to the top after a sighting, only to find no footprints in the sand. A tour guide who described seeing the figure reflected in a window of his van, but not outside. But here's where it gets stranger. Many witnesses say that when they look away, they feel drawn to look back, like something pulls their attention. One man described it like this: "It's not that I wanted to look again, it's that it noticed I stopped looking." In 2012, a hiker named Miguel M. went off trail near Atlatl Rock and climbed one of the smaller peaks. He reached a flat ridge, nothing out of place, but as he turned to head back, he felt that pull. He looked down toward the canyon and saw the figure standing in the exact spot he had been 15 minutes earlier. Same shape, same size, same clothes. It was like something stepped into me, or watched through me, like I left a copy behind. Skeptics say it's just a heat illusion, or a misidentified rock formation. But those who've seen it in person, they disagree, because this isn't just a figure on a ridge. In some reports, the figure is slightly closer the second time you see it. In others, it's already waiting for you at your car. A viral Reddit post from 2020 described a group of 4 hikers who spotted the figure at a distance, watched it for several minutes, laughing nervously, until one of them said, "It hasn't blinked once." No one laughed after that. The Valley of Fire is silent at night, almost too silent. And if you walk far enough into the canyons, where the stone curves like ribs over your head, you might feel it. Not fear, not awe, but attention. Like the valley knows you're there. And somewhere among the rocks, something is waiting for you to stop moving, so it doesn't have to. Some places echo, others go quiet. But Nevada's desert doesn't need ghosts or myths or monsters, because what's out there is real. And the silence? It's only there to hide what's still listening. Which of these stories followed you the most? Have you ever felt watched by something that never moved? Let me know in the comments. And most important, which state should we explore next? The most requested one might be the next place you wish you hadn't looked into.